Hey everyone, it's Colin from GIY Guy. Thanks for checking out today's video where we'll focus on the front of my house and not the blackberry patch or the garden. But today's video we're doing a complete redo of the front landscaping on the house. And that is because Michaela and I are planning to move in the next 6 or 8 months, rent the place out, and so we definitely want to improve the curb appeal. In today's video, we're going to focus on how to pretty up your landscaping, even if it only gets a couple, maybe 2 or 4 hours of sunlight a day. So the hope with this video and this coming weekend is to find some replacement shrubs that keep their aesthetic appeal year-round. They don't lose their leaves in the winter. These shrubs have been great for the last couple years. We haven't taken them out because they stay green all the time, but we're getting to a point where it's like, all right, we need to clean it up a bit. And so that's what we're doing in today's video. So first up, we're going to rip out the old shrubs. We're just going to take them out, throw them in the burn pile. And then second, I'll actually walk you through the new ones that we get, hopefully this weekend. We'll probably go to a plant nursery, talk to an expert there and see what they recommend for a 2 to 4 hour sunlight area. And then the third and final thing we'll do is plant the new ones and we'll give you the final view. So here's what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with, shrubs that are, they're looking kind of dead. There's definitely some dead parts of the stem in there that I've broken off. They haven't filled out very well. You can see just a massive gap in all these. The left side isn't too bad. It actually filled out pretty well, but to be honest, I don't want to deal with these and I'd rather plant something new. All right, we got the hard part done. We got some battle scars that'll probably sting in the shower later, but we pulled out about 6 or 7 shrubs. I'll be back in about 5 seconds after I come back with the new plants from the weekend. All right, today is officially planting day. It's been a couple days. It's now Sunday, so we had to, go to the shrub nursery and go to Home Depot and all that stuff. Yesterday, Michaela and I hit up Greensboro Shrub Nursery, which was only a few minutes away from us, so really convenient. And the best part was it happened to be Earth Day, so we got a 10% discount. Instead of spending the small fortune of $260, it cost us about $234 for all the plants we got. And to be honest, when you buy landscaping plants, you feel like you're spending a ton of money and then you go place them where they're gonna go and it's like, wow, what did I just buy? I feel like I didn't get anything for my money. But anyway, before we actually went and bought the plants, I spent a few hours researching, shade-tolerant plants that would do well in our area up front here, which gets about 2 to 3 hours of good morning sun, and then after that, it's kind of shade to deep shade. So if you're interested in that list that I generated, go ahead and check out the description. It's got 8 or 10 plants that I considered. Obviously we didn't plant them all, we only did 4, and that is what I'll get into next. Now I want to go into a little bit of the landscape design and kind of my thought process behind each plant here. Again, this is going to be a rental property down the road, so we're not trying to spend a fortune, trying to keep it around a few $100s. So the first plant I want to introduce to you is called Distylium. With our design, we kind of wanted like a hedge or a thick shrub backdrop to cover some of this brick. And originally we were going to go with a boxwood, but those ended up being like $80, so the price really dictated what we bought here. We actually went with the Distylium at the recommendation of the landscape designer. We kind of told her our layout, told her our shade situation. She said these will grow just about anywhere in any conditions. A couple other benefits of the Distylium is that it's deer resistant and drought tolerant. So these are very low maintenance shrubs. They might require a trimming once or twice a year. Very low water requirements. It's not something that a tenant is going to kill off very easily, even if they neglect them for most of the year. To me, the hardest part about landscape design is knowing how the space is going to fill out. So you really have to trust their, the tags on these things, because this is only maybe a foot by a foot. This is a foot by a foot, but you have to lay out your landscaping based on the tag. So when it says 2 to 3 feet high, 3 to 4 feet wide, we're kind of expecting this to take up most of this area and this one to take up most of this area, and then maybe we'll have some area to, plant some smaller things up front here. So here's a close-up of the Distylium. One thing I forgot to note is that it is an evergreen, so it's going to keep its leaves and color year-round, which is definitely important to us. For the second plant, I wanted to zoom out a little bit to give you a better view of what kind of space this is going to occupy. We're kind of just in the corner of our front porch here, and so we've got this space that a vertical sky pencil would look great in. This is an evergreen. It's actually a holly variety, I think, so pretty low maintenance as well. It might just take a little bit of trimming once or twice a year just to maintain the shape and prune off any dead stuff. Here's a close-up of the sky pencil. It's got similar leaves as like a boxwood or a holly shrub maybe. The third plant we got was a gardenia right here. We got both the sky pencil and the gardenia, I think for 25 bucks a piece. We actually picked the one out that hadn't bloomed yet, so we get all the blooms for ourselves over the next couple weeks. These have beautiful white flowers, so we're hoping that this really fills out the corner of this spot here, and it'll look really pretty with the white flowers with the evergreen background of the shrubs. Also, the gardenia is a pretty low maintenance plant that needs partial sun to part shade. Which we thought would be a really good spot right here because it gets morning sun and a little bit of kind of scattered afternoon sunshine. So the fourth and final plant we got was a hydrangea. This is a Nico blue variety, which is supposed to have beautiful blue flowers. So our thought process behind this was to have a base of evergreen covering this brick backdrop here, and then a splash of color on the far end with the gardenia, and then a big splash of color, a big wave of color with the Nico blue hydrangea. And the other benefit of the hydrangea is that it loves shade, deep shade, really thrives there. And also, it being on the corner of the house, we don't have to prune it at all. You know, in the winter it'll kind of die back and be a bunch of sticks, so we'll prune it back then. But as far as how it grows over the growing season, we're just gonna let it do its thing and get as massive as it wants to. I wanted to show you the little flower buds that we've got here. These will probably bloom sometime over the summer. To be honest, I am no plant expert when it comes to landscaping plants. I dabble a little bit just so I can do it myself and not have to hire somebody, but I am much more comfortable in the garden and blackberry fields. All right, we've gone through the landscape design and the plant walkthrough portion of this video. The last thing I want to do is show you how to put one of these things in the ground. It's super simple. It's just a matter of knowing how to do it, and then you'll know how to do it for the rest of your life. All right, so here's a crash course on how to put the plant in the ground. First thing we're gonna do is rake away any wood chips that are in your garden. There's no point buying more wood chips than you need to if you've already got some in your flower bed. Okay, you might be able to see I've got a tape measure down here on the ground. You can probably see the ring here I made with the plant. Now when you put a plant in the ground, you don't want to just dig the exact diameter hole, plop the plant in, and hope it survives. You know, it might do all right, but you want to set it up for the best chance of survival, especially since you pay 30 bucks a piece for these things. So as we dig this hole, the base of the plant was about 1 foot diameter. And so we're just going to double that and dig a hole that's 2 foot diameter. And then you can see the pot here is about, it's probably 10 to 12 inches deep. And so we're just going to dig a hole that's about 16 to 18 inches deep. We're just going to add a little bit since our soil is already pretty good. So if you have really bad soil, I would recommend, you know, maybe even triple the diameter of your plant. So if it's 1 foot diameter, dig a hole that's 3 foot diameter. And then if it's 12 inches deep, dig a hole that's 20 inches deep. That way you can really fill that hole with organic material, good dirt, stuff that that plant is going to be able to fill out really well. Because if you have just a 1 foot diameter clay plug, then all that plant is going to do is stay in that plug, and it's going to get filled with water. The drainage isn't going to be very good, and the plant is not going to grow very well. So for this plant, we're going to dig a 2 foot diameter hole that's about 16 inches deep. All right, so the top look was definitely deceiving. The top inch was like good topsoil, and then the rest of it is like this clay junk. And so again, we're going to dig a big hole and fill it with good dirt. All right, we just put about 3 bags of Miracle-Gro garden soil into the hole. About $2 a bag, so we're talking about $6 here. But we're just gonna fill it until our plant, the base of the plant is about 2 inches above the rest of your dirt line. And this is because you wanna leave some room for mulch to cover, and also the dirt's gonna settle as it gets watered in. So this looks pretty good here. It's about 2 inches. We'll add just a little bit more because it'll probably settle. But then, all you do to take this out of the pot, you can either cut the pot off, or if you want to save the pot, usually you can just turn it upside down like this and the pot comes right off. So I've already got one broken up, but this is what it looks like straight out of the pot. And you don't want to just put this right into the ground because you want to force these roots to spread out a little bit and get used to their new environment. A lot of the dirt already came off, but when you kind of break it up, you just want to break up those roots. This is probably a little excessive. You just want to disturb them a little bit. And then you'll just stick this right in the ground. Also, you want to keep in mind how deep you want it. We kind of want ours a little bit toward the back, a little bit off center. So I'm going to scoot it back a little bit here. But then just start pushing all the dirt around it. Now when it comes to the last couple inches of dirt up around the base of the plant, you can just use whatever junk dirt you had before, because that's not going to be really where the roots are growing into. There we go. Now what you're left with is a centered plant that way, and it's going to be slightly above the rest of the soil. I don't know if you can't really see much of a bump there, but it should look like it's a little bit bumped above everything else. And also I've got all my old fill dirt here, so we'll take some of that out too. Well, there you go. There's the crash course on how to put a plant in the ground. Keep in mind how much mulch you're going to put in. Make sure your dirt line is a couple inches below your sidewalk or whatever barrier you have. Otherwise, all your mulch will just wash away. But there we go. Well, that's all I've got for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed the landscape discussion and the shaded plant discussion. Check out the description if you want to see a good starting list of shaded plants. Again, go to your landscape nursery. They'll be able to help you a lot more than I can in a video. But that's all I've got for this one. Hopefully the crash course helped. So I'll catch you in the next one, and keep growing it yourself.